During intake at NYU for vestibular rehabilitation, it was found that I cannot begin therapy until I address my Chiari malformation, causing my brainstem to be so unstable.
Okay. Balance. Gait steady. This is my modified vestibular rehabilitation with some yoga for disabled people mixed in with no qualification or certification. I sometimes walk on the trail in the woods with my eyes closed to get my center of gravity and balance, because I always have vertigo and spins every waking moment, and it sometimes wakes me up when I lay down flat, so that's a no-no. So standing up vertically, keeping my posture appropriate, like almost a statue, for my upper body, from my cervical injuries and recent surgery, but to move my lower body and to get some sense of balance practiced, in hopes that I will live until July to start vestibular rehabilitation at NYU, something I've wanted for a year and change. But my path is different, and everyone's path is their own. So to motivate myself, I push myself and I remind myself again and again, because I have no memory, because that limbic system was trashed, and I remind myself again and again, I am not alone. There are others, but the difference between me and the others is that they're still suffering in silence. And I did that, and I'm done with that, and I will never suffer in silence again, and I will never be invisible again. So in that way, as an elder at the Pride Center, my very sage and honest advice to anyone is never be invisible, never hide yourself away for the need to be accepted or included or validated by others, because ignorance is now running the show, and more people who have needs are being cast out for the very wealthy to get richer. Somehow in all of that mess, I ask myself, what is my role in all of this? I lived in a problem-solving lens as a very neurodivergent psychiatric nurse clinician for almost 40 years, until someone decided they didn't like it in the hospital, so they sucker punched a boss who happened to be me, who happened to fall straight back, shattering his skull and his brain, and effectively killing the old me, leaving a shell of a person struggling to get care in New York City. I don't live in some remote rural area, but bouncing around between insurance and workers' comp and denials and checklists and forms. And I created checklists for other clinicians to treat, for insurance, Medicare, CMS, all joint, all that. So yes, people are learning to treat charts very well. What about the people? And I don't blame anyone in the healthcare industry right now. I know for anyone trying to work in healthcare, it is a struggle with all the cutbacks and more people without regular care, ERs, urgent centers. But I do have things to say about what COVID did, but that is for another conversation. And for anyone who is a clinician, learning to become a clinician, or just a person living with either severe mental illness, traumatic brain injury, a neurodegenerative disorder of any type that makes you wonder, what is going to get worse for me, or who am I, or what do I do now, or I don't even know who to ask, so I'll just sit quietly and not agitate my family or caregivers or anyone and not complain, and I'll wait for someone to hopefully just come save me or do something about all this mess. And how many people are sitting silently waiting for that? I was one of them, one of you. If you're listening and you're still silently suffering, waiting for someone to come, it required a reset of my OS, of my entire mind, for me to finally not view reality with the perception I once did about healthcare, finances, this, that, or what people thought of me. I was embarrassed. I was very introverted and shy, internally obsessed, very weirdly, specifically, internally obsessed. That was my version of ADHD inattentive type for a lifetime. And maybe other people's too. And Vernon, you say it better than I do, but with my word finding issues, and my cadence and flow in speaking is nothing like it once was. And I took some pride in that, and I helped other people record their voice, not just to be on the radio. I hated that, and I never pursued commercial music because the content was grotesque. And now, of course, with AI music, that's all toast anyway. But in the underground world of lyricism, poetry is a way to express trauma. For those that are, this is obvious, you might say, duh, but for me, I am making use of this thing I have known and worked for others my entire adult life, with my label, the podcast, my work, my volunteer life. It all sourced back to the same damn thing for people with severe and chronic mental illnesses. Those same 3 words I need to say now, because in the event I play back this clip again, I won't remember it in 2 hours from now. And I'm being honest, because I got nothing to lose at this point. I don't know how much more my heart is going to tolerate with this dysautonomy, a pulse of 140 to 6. It's everywhere, and I know why, but I can't do anything about it yet. It's my brainstem, and hopefully I'll find a doctor to MRI me and see if there's some Chiari decompression thing. But if there isn't, if today is my last day, I have 2 things to say. One, now this is for me, because don't give up. Stay with it, because you are not alone. Lead by example. Fear will never dictate anything I do ever again. Needs for anything, desires for neurotransmitters, dopamine. That is why I will never have needs like that again, because really I have no needs. I have everything I truly need right now, standing in the woods. My peace of mind, my shadow integration, being able to objectively view deep past traumas in a clinical sense, with no emotion involved, being able to look back and consider how it affected me and what I've learned from it. I'm looking at it as if I'm on an expedition for a psychosocial study of someone else, because in a way it is someone else. That's the old me that died when so much of my brain died on 17 September 2024. The version of me speaking now that is integrated and awake and aware in so many ways as never before. The INFJ, Heyoka, whatever I am. The version of me here and now says to me, you are awake. You have been through a world of extremes of mental illness, pain, loss, and trauma. But you have arrived at a point so few arrive at during their lifetimes. And you also know that after the body tires and the body dies, consciousness never truly dies. It seems I was in the way of the motorcyclists.